So, ladies and gentlemen, we're nearly ready to start. A little bit of theatre before we do that, so just bear with us. And other than the table at the back there, I think everybody's set. Put your hand up if you do not know what colour you are, what colour you've been assigned. Thank you so much. Okay, right, well, thank you very much for your cooperation. Wasn't that fun, everybody? Who just had fun? Put your hands up. Okay, let's do this. Moving chairs is so much fun. Right. Innotribe. Please welcome from Claro Partners, Sam Giotti and Aldo De Jong.
Thank you. Good morning. So we're here for the workshop Engaging with Millennials, a hands-on workshop for banks. I hope that's what you're here for, because you're going to work hard today. And if you are working on the wrong thing, that will be a shame. So this is based on a collaboration between Sam and myself and our teams from Claro and Antemis Group, called Always in Beta, which has been supported by a group of 6 forward-looking, innovative banks. So always in beta is human-centered innovation coming together with Sam. Maybe Sam, you can say a few words about Antimis.
Yeah, we are pioneer FinTech investor and advisory group. We've been in financial technology for, just over a decade, and with several investments, about 30 or so in this space. And we also have an advisory business that focuses on innovation and business model resilience, and that's sort of the basis of the collaboration with Claro.
Yeah. So this collaboration really is bringing together those two perspectives that you need for successful innovation, how the business landscape is changing and how customer behavior is changing. So how this is going to look like today. So we'll just have a short section in where we share some top-level insights from our work, but then it's all about working together in your groups. So first, we'll share with you a scenario. Every table, every color will have a different scenario. And then you'll work for a while, and then we'll share a design toolkit, and then you use the design toolkit to work a little bit more, to ideate. And then at the end, we will find 4 tables to share back. So 1 table per color will be invited to come here and share their results back. So tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? Oh, sorry. So now we switch to the voting. So please take out your little BlackBerry on the table. So press 1 if you are a banker, 2 if you're a FinTech entrepreneur, 3 if you're a millennial, and 4 if you're other. Yeah, please press now. Okay, great. So we do have bankers, entrepreneurs, millennials, and quite a few others in the room. That's great. So welcome everyone. Now, the next question. Does your bank value you as a customer? Please vote now. Okay, so now I have to remember the colors, or no, we don't break it out. Okay. Ah, there we go. Look at that. So if we look at the entrepreneurs seem to be very disgruntled with the service they get from their banks, and of course the bankers are the most happy with the service from their own banks. Well, that's obvious. This kind of results are very much in line with what we saw in our research. There's a great dissatisfaction today with services, and the FinTech entrepreneurs are innovating to really meet the needs of the customers, and some forward-looking banks are doing as well. So let's take a look at those insights. So before we do that, let's introduce what are our 4 facilitators today. So you already met Sam and myself, but then we have also Hamilton, Ray, and Mary, who are from Collective Next, helping us with the facilitation today. So each of us will facilitate one of the 4 colors. And then we have with us, please stand up, all the entrepreneurs shown on the pictures. Please stand up. Brett. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, so these are the entrepreneurs that we spread out along the tables to work with the groups. And then we have, next one, we have also a number of millennials coming from local university and around. Please stand up. Real millennials. Yeah. Okay. So you guys are sitting together. Okay, maybe you can switch, because everybody. Okay, can you switch with, can one of you switch with the other table? Thank you. So the idea is that these millennials are here as live persona. Maybe you're familiar with working with persona, so these are live persona. And David. Oh, of course, yeah. No. Then we have, of course, Daniel and Steve from Wharton FinTech. Please stand up. Yeah. You'll hear a little bit more from them a little bit later because they did a really interesting piece of research that they will be sharing a little bit later about. So let's go into the insights. So what are we experiencing? We are experiencing a digital revolution. And what we want to talk about is not so much about millennials, even that's the name of the workshop. But what we want to talk about is digital natives. How digital technologies have shaped a complete new generation of people, sometimes also from older generations. Because what we see is that these digital behaviors are highly contagious. So for example, we completely changed the way we navigate a city or how do we meet up with people thanks to Google Maps. Google Maps is not about putting maps online, it's about changing completely how we meet up. Or social networks have completely changed how we stay in touch with people far and away. And Airbnb has changed values. We are now valuing a complete different way of traveling, a more personalized experience. But at the same time, the digital revolution is your bank's challenge. It's not the answer. So it's not about, oh, let's create a digital initiative and now we're good. No, you really have to completely rethink not only your channels and your the way you approach your customers, but you have to rethink your actual business models. Because every part of the model is being disrupted by many different players. There's new competitors out there everywhere. You know, Uber is now a big payment processor, but without people even realizing they are paying, right? And big technology giants are also sort of sleeping giants and waiting to attack this place. And then there's the new challenger banks who are completely building new models and new ways of doing business, putting together various platforms. So this is all about understanding what is this new digital customer, what is the relationship with the bank, and how can the bank meet their needs. So who are digital natives? So like I was saying before, digital natives are a global generation whose mindset and behaviors are being shaped by network digital technologies on an ongoing basis. So that's what digital natives are about. So it's not about an age group. It's about a set of behaviors, lifestyle, and values. So just to share you a little bit of what we saw, is one of the most important things is that their lifestyle is changing. In the old, let's say, the traditional model, people used to have a more predictable linear life path. And these digital natives, because of the fast pace of change, they choose to keep their options open and deliberately make sure that they have options throughout their lives. So this means that old models like segmentation according to income or according to life stage might not work that well anymore. So this generation has radically different expectations. They grew up with digital technology. You saw before the session of Kevin, they grow up with smartphones when they are very little. They already know how to operate them. And what they seek is meaningful, personalized experiences that really seamlessly integrate in their lives and meet their needs anytime, anywhere. So let me hand over to Sam to talk to you a little bit about what we have seen in the FinTech landscape.
So this is an interactive map of what we see in terms of financial technology across a variety of sort of retail financial services, deliberately just the retail map. And one of the interesting things that you can see here is basically how the map has grown over time. So if we were to look at this map about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we would probably be looking at about 10 to 20 sort of startups operating in this space. What you can see here is about 60 value propositions that we have selected across investing, trading, credit and lending, insurance payments, money management, pretty much every single functions that you can see today within retail financial services and the consumer services. Underneath this map, there are about 150 startups. And the reason why we chose startups is because essentially entrepreneurs address what are untapped market opportunities. So looking at where the startups are operating is a good proxy for where emerging behaviors and emerging business models are happening. The map has two main purposes. One is basically looking at microstructures, so you can actually read it in terms of the relationship that exists within each of these functions, but also has sort of particle level details, so you can zoom in each and every sort of value propositions, and we have identified selected players in this space as representatives of the value proposition that we want to describe. So it's not meant to be exhaustive, it's meant to be descriptive. One of the interesting things about this, I'm going to come back for a second. A couple of sort of interesting points here is how over time really the sort of the FinTech community has moved from trying to disintermediate the sort of front-end interactions with the customers from becoming more active in what we call the enabler layers. And if you could see, sort of, it's hard to read here, but you can see this happening all the way from sort of the ETF space, banking as a service, and really a plethora of players that are operating within the API environment, all the way through to essentially FX as a service. We'll use some of the elements in each of the exercises, so a bit more to come on this front. So what we want to do today is really explore how banks can build relationship with the digital natives. And specifically, we want to focus on 4 shifts that we have seen emerging in this space. The first one is around the concept of trust, and particularly how the concept of trust is moving from this authoritative to a more shared sort of relationship. So the postures of millennials towards trust has fundamentally shifted from trust me, I'm a bank, to level with me and work together. The second one is around engagement. And again, the postures of millennials towards this specific shift has gone from loyalty to relevance. You purchase my product, I reward you in so many different ways. Here is about you become relevant contextually to me at the time and point in which I need it, and that becomes a different type of sort of loop circles in terms of the relationship. The third one is around planning. Much around finances, around planning. And here's the perspective has moved from planning to preparation. If you remember sort of the shifts around how millennials think and how their values are shifted between this fragmented life path versus a linear approach towards life, this is what we're seeing emerging in terms of how they think forward in terms of money management. And finally, this is about delegation, moving from delegation towards enablement. So you do it for me. You are the trusted source of all things being financed towards DIY, enable me, put me in a position where I can actually be self-enabled. So we're now going to move on to the exercises, and Aldo is going to explain it in a little bit more detail. Thank you, Aldo.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. So I don't know if anybody of you already recognized the 4 colors, right, of the shifts that Sam just explained. So those are the 4 colors of your tables. So now you know what you will be focusing on for the next 45 minutes of this workshop. But don't worry, we have some materials to hand out to you. So while I'll explain, maybe the other facilitators already can start handing out the scenario cards and the and these sheets. So close your eyes for a moment and think back. Please close your eyes. I see lots of open eyes. Close your eyes and think back to 2015, how the world was different then. And now think 5 years forward, how different would it be? You remember the talk of Kevin? How will the telephone be in 10 years from now? We really can't know. But the only thing we know is that it will change very, very rapidly. So that is what this workshop will be about, imagining how 2020 will be. And when we want to be ready for that as banks, we have to start working on it today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to develop new concepts with this idea in mind. So you will be handed out these sheets. So these are more information about these shift. You have one of them per person. And then you will be handed out these scenario cards, which also explains the exercise. And you'll only have 2 per table. So what I recommend is take a moment to read the big sheet, and then have one of your group read out the scenario and start with the first exercise. Exercise number 1, to brainstorm a few initial ideas. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, the rules of successful brainstorming. But I would just like to repeat it because it's always difficult when you come together for the first time with a group of strangers. So encourage wild ideas. Let people just say crazy things, because maybe from crazy things you get better things. Quality through quantity. Just generate. Use the post-its and the pens on your table to quickly write down some ideas and share them with the group. So postpone judgment. Don't say, oh, that could never happen, because that's the point, right? Crazy ideas are good. Build on each other's ideas. Stay on topic. You know, your topic is very clearly defined, so try to keep that. And another tip I want to give you is write before you share. So you write down, and then when you put it in the middle of the table, your idea, you actually say what is the idea that you have, and then the group can go on. But don't make it a long story. Basically say what's written on your post-its with a big marker, so you can't write too long stories. Okay? So good luck. That's what we're going to do for the next 10 minutes. And so we have 4 facilitators. I am going to facilitate the shift from delegation to enablement, the green guys. Mary is going to facilitate the group that's working on engagement. Hamilton is going to work with the trust, and then Sam is going to work with the group of planning. Good luck. Yes? Okay, now it's time to move to reading out the scenario and then to start generating ideas. I'm sorry, we're on a tight pace here. Yeah. Okay, so there's 3.5 minutes left for this exercise. So keep on generating ideas and maybe start building on the ideas that seems most interesting. Okay. So please all take a break from your very interesting discussions. Everyone, please take a break. We're going to share a little bit more the design toolkit. As part of the design toolkit, we have here Steve from Wharton FinTech, who is going to talk to you about the 3 tenets. Please, guys, you have more time to ideate further once we are done with this, okay? Just 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have the counter on 3.
For this. We're going to have everybody's attention, please. Everybody's attention to the center.
Steve and Dan from Wharton FinTech.
Hi, I'm Steve, and this is Daniel. We're from Wharton FinTech, and thanks very much for listening to us as we talk about how we think about financial services, and as millennials who are sometimes a little bit self-absorbed, please indulge us as we talk about our preferences. Oop.
We don't have slides.
Okay, no slides. Okay, can we go back?
Yeah, so human beings are really bad at making decisions. We suffer many cognitive biases, and this is especially true when it comes to financial decision making. Because finance is so complex, because human beings think linearly, while finance is inherently exponential, banks have to use the heuristic of trust to get consumers to buy products and services. And there are big differences between millennials and our grandparents and our parents in how we decide who to trust.
So our parents and grandparents used to trust based on established brands that were built over a long period of time. Also one-on-one relationships, and we were just talking about this in our group, but to us, it's not beneficial to have a one-on-one relationship. I don't want to talk to somebody. It's actually not a trade-off for lower price when it comes to a relationship with a banker. It's actually a feature. And then the last would be the corner bank, as I'm sure heard a lot about that this week. It used to be tied to, trust used to be tied to going to the bank. It was an experience. It was something that was a sense of identity and community where everybody knew your name. And now the trust model, Trust 2.0, the way we think about it is we trust in technology and we trust in social networks and our social networks, so our friends. And the advent of social media has now been able to let us project widely to many, many people and get their opinions on what they think would be good financial services and products. And then lastly, we trust in businesses that have social missions built into their business model and not just a feel-good corporate social responsibility add-on.
All right, so the first pillar that Steve talked about was technology. Now, technology's always been important in finance. We're not arguing that this is new. But what's happening is the consumer is getting closer to the technology. And so the way the consumer interacts with the tech is what now matters. And the way that consumers, or millennial consumers, interact with technology is unprecedented. A recent report from Scratch, the Millennial Disruption Index, that I'm sure you're all familiar with, found that banks are the most likely industry to be disrupted by millennial consumer preferences, specifically with regard to technology. And a Capgemini and FMA World Banking report found that consumers would rather bank with internet firms than with the banks themselves, because the products are just better.
So just really quick, talking a little bit about social networks, we're still fundamentally the same in that we trust people, but the amount of people that we can trust is so much more vast. And roughly 3/4 of consumers rely on social networks to make purchasing decisions, and they only trust, and roughly only 33% trust advertising. So just think about that when you're thinking about acquiring new customers.
And lastly, the third pillar of the new model of trust is social mission. So Mark Zuckerberg said that Facebook wasn't built to be a company. It was built to accomplish the social mission of making the world more open and connected. And the FinTech founders that Steve and I talk to every day describe similarly lofty motivations for founding their businesses. And as millennials, we want to not only do business with, but also work for companies whose mission-driven values resonate with our own.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Steve and Daniel. It's great. It's great to see that you guys were talking to the same millennials as we did in our research, because your findings, as you probably all have realized, are very aligned with what we were talking about before. But it was great to give that extra depth to trust. So as part of the design toolkit, we're now going to share 3 out of the 7 principles to develop successful financial services for these new digital customers. So the first one is easy in, easy out. Okay? So when we think about this, when you want to develop a new service, it's really important that you think about your benchmark. Your benchmarks are other digital services. How easy is it to get into a new digital service? So it should be the same for financial services. But the other thing is that people don't want to be trapped. Remember about the shift for loyalty to relevance? So people don't want to be trapped. So they want to have the idea that it's very easy to go out. If not, they won't even bother to getting in. The second one is make it simple. Give them a sense of control. Make it really dumb simple. Financial services, unfortunately, even if it's so important for their lives, it's not important in their minds. So make it damn simple. And there's no better example that we couldn't think of. That sounds a bit of a pun, but the company Simple. And lastly, be genuine. You know, be genuine to them and to your company's purpose. Try to find alignment between the purpose of your customer and the purpose of your bank. Another great example of that is Triodos Bank from the Netherlands. So we'll hand out these cards now, and then we have another 10 minutes of ideation.
We already covered your.
Okay, thank you. Okay, only 1 minute left, people. So fill in your templates and be ready to share back. Yeah. Yeah. 15 seconds. Uh, okay, everyone. It's time to put down your. It's time to put down your pens and pay attention to the shareback. Okay. So please pay attention to your colleagues from the other teams. I think it's going to be interesting to listen to them. So Hamilton.
Yes.
Did you already pick your favorite?
Much like my kids, it was hard to pick my favorite, but I did. That's not like my kids. I'm going to go to this table. This table here came up with the idea of a digital ombudsman, and I'll let them explain it to you.
And you have about
1
minute, okay?
Thank you. So the digital ombudsman is directed towards dissatisfied customers who can't really go to their bank and make a complaint. They can't get a resolution, so they go to the ombudsman. And the ombudsman on the other side has subscribers that will listen and ultimately can connect them to the institution they can trust that will improve their experience and resolve their issue.
Awesome. Very
All right.
nice. Thank you. So now Mary is going to pick a team from the engagement group.
Wow, there were a couple of interesting ones here. I think this team was kind of interesting that when somebody applies for a loan, they never get rejected because they're qualified in real time. And would anyone from this team like to speak a little further to that?
Yeah. And please stand up.
So
I
yeah,
forgot.
our idea is on-demand finance. So you give the data, so we know you and we know what you're doing, where you are, and in return for that, we can offer you in-store financing to buy whatever you want to buy. But you never apply for credit and get rejected because you wouldn't receive that offer unless we've got the data to pre-qualify you. So if you don't qualify for the loan, you just wouldn't receive the offer. So in return, this has a better relationship with the customer.
Thank you very much. So I forgot to tell you one thing is please think about everyone in the room. Which of those two ideas presented so far is your favorite? And then there will be two more ideas presented, and in the end you will have to pick only one as your favorite, because you will all be handed out investment money. It's already in your pockets, okay? It's virtual money, so that's why we actually didn't hand out anything. But so you can invest in only one idea. So you have to pick your favorite. So Sam now is going to talk about planning.
All right. Our team was looking at planning and preparation, and the scenario was Google launching a new automated service, financial services. So it was about Google integrating financial services into their essentially existing search and data services. quite a lot of sort of interest around community services, financing with friends, and I've seen some interesting stuff around AI being discussed. So I'm going to pick here this team. The idea is new Quaker finance with friends.
Yeah, so the idea is based on kind of old mutual aid societies where the community not only takes care of its own, but enforces responsible behavior. So if you really do trust in your friends more than a bank, you should look to your friends for not only a source of finance, maybe a pooled kind of pre-pooled crowdfunding for things you might want to do. Go to school, take a vacation, and the community gets to decide whether or not you do that, right? And make sure that you understand what the risks are, and it makes it easy to get into the group because it's your group of friends. You can distribute this through Facebook or through Twitter or anywhere else. And it's easy to defect from the group too. And in fact, the group may want to kick you out if you're not acting responsibly with your money. So that in a nutshell is kind of the idea.
Thank you. Okay. Great. So now the last group that has been working over here on financial management, they got this scenario which is if this, then automate, like if this, then that, but automated finance. And what's your name, sorry? Stefano. So Stefano is going to talk about easy idea.
Yeah, so the idea that we came across is basically to develop a middleware or a platform that is a sort of like personal identity management, which allows, let's say, in one single middleware to connect all the different financial activity in institutions that there will be in 2020. So from banks to the mobile money of the operator to Bitcoin, loyalty program, and so on. And having this middleware where we give to a single person the control of, let's say, a single identity, so not going to multiple IDs and the complexity to manage multiple different, let's say, services connected to that, empower the user in terms of like having an easy way to get in your identity, which probably is will be to be born with your identity, but also easy way to connect this identity to all the different devices, so to your fridge that is going to order food for you, or the robot for the house that is going to clean your house, and so on. These were the scenario. But also, let's say, with empowerment, there is a part that is really important, that is control, meaning that I don't want to lose with this personal identity the control of what's happening around me and all the devices that will be connected to that. So we need to think of a mechanism of controlling them.
Thank you. So now is the time to get out your virtual currency to invest in these ideas. Please take your voting mechanism. Which one would you invest? So the orange team on trust?
Yeah, so do we want to quickly remind?
Yeah,
so,
perfect.
Because it's been so many good ideas since our idea. So the trust idea was the digital ombudsman from this table here. So that's number one. Mary, what's number two?
The on-demand financing.
Sam?
From the planning team, we looked at the new Quaker Financial Services Trust with Friends.
And then with financial management, we had the easy idea, people being in control of their digital identity. So please vote now.
Oh,
invest now.
Come on, trust.
Oh. All right. Very close, very close. Everybody did an amazing job, as you can see. I mean, these kind of differences are really rounding errors. So you're all winners. So now I would like to invite our experts. I would like to invite Pamela and Josephine. Is Josephine here? And Scarlett? No?
Scarlett's
yeah?
here.
Scarlett, can you come over here? Pamela?
I think maybe just from where they're standing, maybe.
Oh, okay. That's okay, too. So Scarlett, now you first at the microphone. So this is Scarlett Sieber from BBVA.
What am I doing?
Can you say something about one thing that you found interesting about any of these 4 ideas?
Well, I'm going to be biased because we were one of the 4.
Okay.
What I found really interesting and something that I hadn't considered before is about fiscal responsibility. I'm also the millennial lead for BBVA within the United States. And one thing that we had not considered before is it's hard to get millennials to save because we spend our money on experiences and things like that.
Thank you.
Through the idea that we came up with, we found a way for them to be fiscally responsible through community accountability. So if they're not doing good things with their money, their friends see it and they can kick them out of the group. So I thought that was a really, really good idea, and that's something I didn't consider before.
Okay, thank you.
With my tie, I'll take it.
Pamela from Pendo Systems.
Hello. Oh, sorry. I don't necessarily always need a microphone. I will also be biased because we had the engagement, right? And if you think about the ability to be able to provide on-demand financing to these millenniums, I think the ability to stretch that theory out in terms of tracking lifestyle changes with them. They graduate, what are those types of services that you need? They get married, they have a baby. You start following them through their lifestyle and be able to push information to them instead of them having to pull it out of the bank, right? So I think that our approach to what we can do from on-demand financing goes well beyond retail. It can extend into lending of mortgages. It can extend into real estate. It can extend into all sorts of opportunities for that millennium to trust you because you've taken an interest in the things that they're doing. But that also then generates an opportunity for the institutions to have to put in the right systems to be able to track social and environmental responsibilities of those individuals that they're starting to provide financing to.
Thank you. Dan,
You're mic.
can you comment, but not on your own team, please? If not, I will ask Steve.
So I think the digital ombudsman is very interesting. One of the issues that millennials have with the banks is that we don't trust them, right? So we're not likely to see their resolution of an issue that we might have as being fair. I think that an ombudsman that's based in technology, an ombudsman that is set up with a social mission, right, and that has buy-in and from our social networks is something that we can probably trust in and feel pretty good about the resolution from.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we had one more person, but I'm not sure if she's in the room. Josephine? No, not Josephine.
Yes, right here.
Yeah? Oh, great, perfect.
Hi, I'm Josephine. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be biased to my team.
Oh,
but,
no.
as a generation who we like to complain, so if we are not satisfied with anything with the bank, then we tend to change our service to another alternative. So with the idea of solving the problems that we have, so I think that if with our idea, we can solve the unsatisfied customer, and we intend to trust the bank more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So those were some comments from the FinTech entrepreneurs, experts, and life experts, the millennials. So with that, I would like to thank everyone. Yeah. Thank everyone for their hard work during the last hour. I would like to thank our co-facilitators, Hamilton and Mary, for being so great in helping us out. And I'm sure this was way too fast-paced for many of you. Normally, we would spend a lot of more time, of course, thinking up these services and sharing some insights. So that's why we have a few resources for you to really download our reports, both from Wharton FinTech and Always in Beta, to really get into this world of developing digital services. So thanks a lot. And with that, I would like to hand over to Hamilton.
Great. And if we could we give Aldo and Sam a great round of applause for designing and helping to facilitate a great workshop. So I have the unlucky task of a lot of housekeeping. So first of all, Feel free to take all the paper that you got, the scenarios, some of the principles with you. You can fight over that, the post-it notes. Please leave the templates so that we can capture those, and these can be ideas that the guys take forward. And your voting devices. Those are more expensive than the ideas at this stage. So please leave those behind. I'd like to tell you a couple of things of what's next. Financial inclusion is the next session in here, the Innotribe space at 12:15. It's going to be a great session. We're going to look at, 12:45. 12:45. Listen to Peter, as always. That is a session where we're going to look at how can we help the financially excluded, but not only from a social mission, but also as an economic opportunity for banks. There is opportunity there, and so we're going to look at both sides of that. I really encourage you to come back. It's going to be interactive and insightful. Before then, we have a book signing just out here. It's with Brett King, signing digital copies of his new book, Augmented. I'm not sure exactly how that happens, but Brett will explain it when you're out there. But please stop by and see it. It's a great book. Some other things. Please rate the session on the way out. 5 is good. 1 is bad. 5 is good. Please grab some coffee from Jimmy Monkey out there. And thanks. Enjoy the rest of your day.